talking about the Titans here. The Titans.
Swing and a drive, left field. It's gone! It's gone! It is Bedlam at the bank!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Podcast right here. You already know. Go fucking subscribe. Go follow.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Phillies postgame show with Eric, Brendan, Dalt, and Ballpark Tommy. Proudly powered by TickPick. Check out the link in the bio for $10 off your first order today. Let's take it to the show.
What a close win. Should have been 6-1. Was 6-4 in the end. They still won, but not the way that I thought it was going to happen. I thought it was just going to be a clean win. I thought they were going to get out of there with only letting up one run, but Ruiz had to just keep us on the edge of the seat, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But what's up, everybody? Eric, also known as Shard, here with the 302 Birds post-game show. I'm joined with some very special guests, Dolt and Big Sean.
What up?
Big Sean, good to see you here again, man. I mean, what a win tonight. Definitely an exciting game. Excited for the young kid, Michael Mercado, which I know we'll get into. And Trea Turner, I just want to start off by thanking really quick before we get into 3-cap fucking Jack. Let's see if he's any good luck. 3-cap fucking Dutch suiting up. Let's fucking go, Trey. Make this shit 3-0. Bomb that shit. No way! Piss. Let's go. Second time around, I just had a feeling, and the second one was the out of the park home run. When that guy first showed up on the screen, I mean, obviously, when you see somebody with 3 hats on, you're gonna be like, okay, what the hell is this person doing? And then I wasn't skeptical after the first time. I was like, okay, this guy knows something that we don't. Shout out to 3-cap Jack. He wakes up Trea Turner. And I just wanted to say, I had this in my notes too, which I'm sure we'll get into, but really nice to see Trea really step up and be that guy for us with these two other guys, Schwarber and Harper, out.
Right. I definitely agree. And I mean, we could talk about that first just because we're kind of on the topic, but
yeah,
Trey Shiesty, my guy, that's my dog. Like, I mean, you kind of already said it yourself, but like definitely need Trey to kind of step up and fill in that superstar role that Kyle and Harper were kind of having to themselves. Because, I mean, like, with them being out, you need somebody that's able to step up. And we're paying Trea Turner, I think it's like $300 million over the next couple of years. So, like, I mean, we need him to step up and be that, what do they refer to him as? The World Baseball Classic Trey that we all know.
Yeah.
But he hit 2 home runs tonight, went 3 for 5, 4 RBI. Both of the home runs were like more than 415 feet. The second one he hit was like way out of the fucking park, left center field. So like absolutely dominant swings there, power swings. Just he crushed that fucking ball.
He looked dominant tonight. Sean, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very good to see him step up into the role. And what I've noticed with him is that, I was scared that he was going to be like a little, slow to come back into the groove, because he had a month off and stuff like that. But he's picking off right where he started pretty much. And that's the reason why we're paying him $300 million is because he's a good enough player to carry this team to wins, really, when your best players are out. Like, I mean, it definitely hurts the Phillies that they lost, Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, but this is what Trea Turner is meant to do. It's very good to see that he's swinging the bat phenomenally. And, yeah, I mean, 2 home runs, you can't ask for a better night. And with that RBI single, too. So, yeah, I mean, you guys covered pretty much all the points there.
Shout out to Three Cap Jack. I mean, one more time. We appreciate you, man. Somebody needs to get that guy season tickets.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree. He definitely needs season tickets. I mean, I saw you text in the group chat, and I was like, "What the fuck is Dalt talking about?" And then you said the video, and I was like, "Oh, it
It's a
makes
weird
sense now."
suspicion I had, but that's the weird shit that I'll see when I'm like watching baseball. Like that's why like stay loose and stay sexy. We were so quick on that meme because that's the weird shit that sticks out to me in baseball where I'm like, ooh, what's this? You know what I mean? Like this is different. So pretty fun to see for sure.
Where's the 3-cap Jack shirts?
Yeah, maybe sometime soon. I'm just saying, if things start going south with the Phillies, we're gonna throw 3 caps on Tommy's head.
Yeah, but kind of wrapping up, I guess this topic. I hope that Trey can kind of keep that up and be that leader that we need, especially the rest of this series and then going into we have the Braves series this weekend. The Braves did lose to I think they played the Giants today. Trying to look at that. Yeah, they played the Giants. So they lost. We're now 9 games up on the Braves. So we're getting back to that 10-game streak that we were on. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Kyle and Bryce are coming back until I think they said next week, maybe. I know the 10 days is up on the 8th. And they were running around and doing what they need to do today. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I saw that Bryce Harper was gonna come back after the All-Star break. So I don't know why they wouldn't just do the same with Kyle Schwarber, but I saw that the earliest date for Kyle Schwarber is July 9th. But yeah, like you said, going along with Trey, this is where he has to step up because you're going into a divisional rival, and this is a huge series. I said the Phillies just have to play 500 ball all season long, and they'll be fine and win the division and be if not the 1 seed, the 2 seed in the National League. But yeah, right after the Atlanta Braves, you got the Dodgers. So you got some hard games coming up, and you need to get the most wins you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not knock on wood. I don't want to jinx us or anything. I'm not too worried about the Braves. They just they're kind of like us right now. They've just been losing guys left and right. I think Arcia went out with something with like his tooth. I don't know what it's called, but it's like when you have like pus underneath your tooth and it can like really mess it up. So I'm not too worried about the Braves. They've been losing. What was that?
Root canal?
Not a root. I forget what it's called.
Not gingivitis either.
No, I gotta look it up. I'll look it up here in a few minutes and I'll let everybody know. But yeah, like they lost to the White Sox, they got shut out. They lost to the Giants. Like they're losing very winnable games. So I'm not too concerned. We might lose maybe one. I think we'll win the series, but I'm not too concerned about the Braves. I'm really not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to be concerned just because it's a divisional rival, but the difference between the Phillies this year and the Atlanta Braves this year is that the Phillies have a deeper roster on every level, and our pitchers have been phenomenal all year long. So you can't really complain about that. They've lost obviously a bunch of guys, but we've lost, Bryce Harper, and we lost. I mean, JT's still out, so we lose guys, they lose guys, but the Phillies continue to find ways to win, and that's the most important part.
So it's called this. You can't really see. It's called an abscess tooth, I guess. It's when you got like pus underneath the tooth from a cavity. So I guess they took him out for that today. But like I said, the Braves they're slowly falling apart. We're slowly falling apart, but I feel like we're more, like Sean just said, we're more complete and finding ways to win. So we'll see what happens with that. It's 2 more games against the Cubs, and then we go on to Atlanta. Excuse me. So always a good series when we play them. But going into the next topic, the one thing I want to talk about that I was honestly kind of surprised about, Michael Mercado. For him coming up, Mercado, however you say his name, Mercado, how do you say his name? He came up from AAA, last year he was used more as a bullpen arm, came in a couple times as a reliever. That's how they were planning on using him when they called him up. But with Turnbull and Walker both being out, and I swear Walker better be out for an extended period of time. This is definitely what we needed for a fifth starter. I mean, he came in, he had 5-6 dominant innings, went 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, only let up 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. His ERA for one game is a 1.5. I don't really take that into consideration with his ERA just because it's one game. But for this being his first game and his first start in a starting rotation, absolutely fucking dominant. I mean, if he came in and he could just be better than Walker and show Rob that Walker's absolute trash, that like this rookie can come in and show you up on your job, that's what we needed. And that's exactly what he did. He came in and showed that, even as a rookie, he can beat Walker. And I think he should honestly, if he can keep up the dominant outings, get the starting job over Walker. Put Walker in the bullpen where he belongs.
Yeah, he looked decisive. He looked confident. He looked like he had ice in his veins, or he almost knew what he was doing. Like he should have been there. And I learned a little bit. I think that they're doing a pretty good job on NBC Sports Philadelphia this year, as much as I bust their balls. Even Ruben's doing a great job just educating us and like letting us know. So, last year, the ups and downs, this guy's been through a lot, in the minor leagues. He started out as a starter. Then they kind of, had him in as just like a rotation guy. Now he's in the MLB, like pretty much in this like, insane roster. And he seems just like he's not like nervous at all. He's decisive, like I said, and he's just like meant to be there. And guys that can act like that can react like that, are going to go far in the sport, because like at some point in sports and in life and in anything, I want to like just talk about like fake it till you make it. And I don't mean fake it because the kid's talented, but just in the aspect of like act like you're meant to be there from the start, dress the way you want, act the way you want. Like they say, dress for the job you want. This kid just acts the way that he should in this role. And I think it's going to benefit him, because confidence, like Shard said, should show to Philly Rob, hey, keep this guy in the rotation. This is a good thing.
Yeah. And I mean, whatever Caleb Cotham and Brian Kaplan are doing in the, pitching development, it's like not even just for Michael, for the entire starting rotation and bullpen. Whatever they are doing this season is working. It is dominant. I don't know, what they've changed from last season going into this season, but like, you have the 3 best ERAs in the NL. You have one of the most dominant bullpen relievers that I've seen in years. And like you're calling up guys from AAA and they're coming in and even they're dominant. So like whatever communication is going on between Lehigh and the Phillies and whatever they're doing in both places, it's working. They need to continue doing that and continue having that dominant starting rotation as well as dominant bullpen.
Yeah, my thoughts on this. I mean, he pitched really, really well. I know he went like what 6 or 7 innings. You said it before, but I forgot. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, lights out. I would like to see this consistently, but we don't know yet because it's only been one start. But going back to what you were saying about Spencer Turnbull and Taiwan Walker is yeah, as much as they want to take Taiwan Walker out, they can't. They like I
Right.
want them to trade him, but you're paying him too much money to sit in the bullpen. That's why they won't do it, and that's why Philly Rob doesn't want to do it. But my thoughts, and it really hurts the Phillies that Spencer Turnbull was hurt, because if he was healthy during this period of time and pitching, in the rotation, then they could get a more like one more gist on him and see like hey, if he's pitching as well as he did before when he was in the rotation previously in the year, then that would be like a determined factor on, hey, it's time to move Taiwan Walker. We have no other choice. Like this guy gives up 6 runs every game. So yeah, that's the reason why. But yeah, I mean, if this guy could consistently do this, I could see them moving him to the bullpen and being a very, very good bullpen piece, like a relief pitcher, go 2, 3 innings. If they need him to. I mean, usually relief pitchers go 2 innings, but yeah, I mean, I could see him really fulfilling needs for the Phillies. And as far as playoff wise goes with Taiwan Walker, they're not going to need him in the starting rotation because your top four are obviously going to be Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, and Sanchez. So you'll never need to get to Taiwan Walker. So he'll probably never see a lick of the playoffs.
He probably won't, and he'll probably make another crybaby rant on Twitter like he did last year.
I don't care. He's just like Tobias Harris. He's not worth the crumble cookie.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think honestly they'll probably wait until the off season and see what they can do with their contract. I don't know how that works. I don't really know much about what goes into a contract, how much they have to play, how much they have to be paid, if you can opt out, whatever. I'm sure there's some, workaround on it.
I mean, yeah, there's opt-outs and stuff like that. Like, Bryce Harper's contract is no opt-outs, no trade clause. But like he obviously has opt-outs, but he's not gonna opt out because he's getting paid all that money. It's just a matter of fact. Most trading in most sports is if another team wants to pick up his contract. And nobody does because he's horrible. Why would you want to pick up what is it? A $45 million a year salary or whatever that is, whatever that calculates to, for a guy that gives up 6 runs a game. So, like, nobody wants him, and that's why they can't trade him. Because, I mean, yeah, you could throw him in, but you're not going to get anything. So, that's why.
Yeah.
I think if there's a time that they should use him, maybe, just maybe, do it like at the end of the season. Like, don't bring him into the playoffs. Please don't. But, like, when you want to give some of your starters some time to rest a little bit before the playoffs, or when you have, like, I don't even want to say injury, but like injury, something bad like that, then maybe utilize them. Don't let it mess up the chemistry of this team. Don't let it lose you games just because you're spending money on it. There's this thing in life called a sunk cost. And it's like one of those things where it's like, fuck it. We already spent the money on it now. I'm not going to suffer from it. Like, let me think of another example real quick for you guys of like a sunk cost. You go to a concert, right, or something, and you pay money for tickets. It starts like fucking raining its ass off. It's just miserable. It's not worth your time to be there anymore. So he's not worth our time anymore is the analogy I'm trying to make for you guys. And at this point for the Philadelphia Phillies, unfortunately, Taiwan Walker is a sunk cost.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly said. Delt's the businessman. So
that was an old thing that just stuck with me from high school, from an economics class, but sunk costs. Because you know why? Because unfortunately, I've made a lot of sunk costs in my own life. We can all relate with that. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. But yeah, so the next topic we're going to go into, and the one thing I kind of want to talk about since he's been up, Johan Rojas, is he here to stay? Is he kind of being that guy that we need him to be? A couple of nights ago, he hit a single and he stretched it into a double, using that speed, showing why he deserves to be up here, showing why he's a dominant player that the Phillies need him to be. And then even tonight on the broadcast, Rojas only had one hit, but it was a bunt to kind of advance runners. And again, that's exactly what the Phillies need him to be. They need him to be that guy at the end of the lineup that, if there are guys on base, he can either move them, he can drive in the RBIs, do that. And again, on the broadcast, they said exactly that. They said this guy, since he's been in Lehigh, has been learning on how to bunt, and it seems like it's working here in the major league. So he's exactly what they need him to be. And honestly, I kind of missed him. I missed his speed in the outfield. I feel like he's our given center fielder with his speed. He made some decent catches tonight. And I don't think that Marsh or Pache could have done what he did tonight.
This is the face of a man who's going out tonight for drinks. Look at that shirt he's wearing.
Wait, hold on.
If anybody's watching the Phillies post-game show, he's got on a drinking shirt, and they asked him on the show. They were like, "What are you doing tonight? Like, are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sure some celebration will be involved." So good for him. Nice to see a good career start. Not to change it up, but real quick, I love everything you said, True, about Rojas Shard, and I like the way that he plays. Like he's a hustler, and sometimes in baseball, the sport doesn't go your way. And that sucks when you really like a player. I've always been a Rojas fan, not only because his name is fun to say for me, but also I just think he's a tough, gritty player, and he kind of embodies what it means to be a Philly. So hopefully he stays because he's been playing really, really well, hustling his ass off, especially that run the other night that he had. That was that double that really put us in a crucial position. I mean, it just really shows what he's been kind of about this season, attitude-wise. So you can't hate a player when they have a good attitude. But I actually got to hop off here. So thank you guys for having me. See you guys.
Good seeing you, Dalt.
See you, Dalt.
Take care.
I'll add on to the Rojas. So yeah, Rojas, I love him as a player. He's pretty much our center fielder, just because of his defensive abilities and his speed, of course. I just don't think that he still has a lot to learn about the game. And I mean, eventually he'll get there because he's a good enough player and he will be our future center fielder. I just don't think he's good enough to hit major league pitching. I just don't think he is. And I mean, like he does, but he's just not consistent with it all the time. He goes off and on, and obviously you saw last year he couldn't hit a lick in the playoffs, and that's what scares me about him is that once the playoffs get here and he's up and he's called up and he's playing center field, you're going to be playing the top rotation, the top four guys in the playoffs. It's going to be, you're going to play their best pitching. And that's the problem with him is that he's always not consistent. And I feel like, if they could keep Marsh in center or Pache, move Pache, Pache does pretty good batting, but I think for as far as playoffs, they'll give him a couple starts and see how it goes. But if it goes downhill and he's not hitting the ball, he's just continuing to strike out. I think that they should just use him as a sacrifice piece, pretty much. Just bring him in to advanced runners, like you said, to be a decoy or something, pinch hit, whatever. I mean, pinch run, whatever. That's what you should use them for if shit goes downhill.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think they did a little bit of that last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. In the playoffs with having him pinch run, towards the end of games, and I think there's just some kind of disconnect in a sense when it comes to AAA versus the major leagues. Because if you look at his stats for Lehigh, like he's doing pretty decent in Lehigh. He's had a couple games where he's getting multiple hits, he's getting home runs. But then when he comes up to the major leagues, like I don't know if it's, the change in pitching, the change in pitching speed, just him being nervous. Because I mean, he has a lot on his shoulders. He's kind of trying to prove that he deserves to be here. He deserves to be that center fielder because we have a couple guys that can fill in his spot. Marsh has been playing center field. Pache's been playing center field. I think in the outfield they have Dawg, they have Kyle. I think they want to get Sosa in center field for a game or two. So it's like there's so many guys that can fill his spot. And it's like when you get sent down, there's just another guy to fill your spot. So I think honestly that's kind of what's pressing him is that he's just so nervous that he wants to do well. And you can see that at times at the plate where he's trying just a little bit too hard. But I will say if he can continue to kind of showcase his speed on the base path, stretch doubles into triples, singles into doubles, get the bunts down, advance runners, get those RBIs, I think he'll be in a good spot.
Covered everything right there.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
Um, not much. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of guys that could fill his position, but I do think he's a very valuable piece to this team. And the correlation to AAA to the major leagues is totally different when it comes to, even pitching. In pitching wise, curveballs, sliders, they're obviously going to be more perfected in the MLB than they are going to be in AAA. It's not really much about speed. It's more about how the pitch is thrown. Like speeds are the same. Like you're gonna see mid 90s, high 90s in the AAA. Same with the major leagues, but yeah, it's more of just how the pitches are thrown. How because these guys they're major league pitchers for a reason. They perfect it. This is their life. They pitch a baseball for a living. So obviously it's going to be a lot different. Yeah, I mean, he's been doing well. I will give him that. I think the main reason he's only up is because of the amount of injuries that they had. And I don't know what they're going to do. If they're going to send down Marshawn back down to AAA and when JT comes back up, or they're going to move, because like David Dahl is still on the I don't know if they reissued him back down to whatever Lehigh Valley or if he's still up. I'm not sure.
He's still up. He went.
He's still up. Okay, so yeah,
he went over 4 tonight. So
okay, so yeah, they'll probably send him back down to AAA. Him and like whatever. I mean, it doesn't. I don't even know because I don't know who has to rehab. But yeah, it's either him or Marshawn. I mean, they're probably going to send down Marshawn too because you're not going to need 3 catchers on the team. And yeah, I mean, that's all I really got for that topic.
yeah, I mean, you kind of said exactly what I was going to say. So, but going into our last topic, the one thing I want to talk about, and the one thing that kind of irritated me towards the end of the game, I said at the beginning of the show, but Hoffman had to come in to save. We didn't really need to use Hoffman if Ruiz did his job. Jose Ruiz came in after Marte came in the 9th inning, let up 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 home run. So, like, I don't know what happened there. He's been kind of dominant in his outings. But after Mercado, it was Soto. He went 1 inning pitch, 2 strikeouts, no hits. Kirkring came in after that, went 1 inning for 1 strikeout, no hits. Marte, 1 inning. He got the 3 outs. And then Ruiz came in and absolutely blew it. So, like, I don't know what happened. I'm just kind of irritated that it wasn't a 6-1 win because I feel like if the bullpen did their job, they could have showed how dominant they were. But the one thing I do want to talk about is Soto. So 9 straight scoreless appearances for Soto. It looks like they've implemented the Christopher Sanchez plan, where he takes a little bit off his fastball and then added some movement and command. And then his slider has been wiped out as well. So it seems like, again, like I said earlier, whatever the Phillies pitching staff is doing is working. Jose, glad to have you. Appreciate you tuning in. Always great to have new people to the channel.
Thank you, Jose.
But yeah, I mean, whatever they're doing with coaching is working. They're fine-tuning these small things to make it work. Taking a little bit off the fastball, changing up a little bit of your command, changing where you're putting the pitch, changing, how you're gripping your pitch. It's working, and they need to keep doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have said it better. This pitching staff slash pitching coaching, it's been phenomenal. I don't know what they changed from last year to this year, but you could see it in almost every pitcher they have. Wheeler's had some ups and downs, I mean, every pitcher is going to, but he's been lights out, Nola lights out. Suarez is having an all-star year, maybe even a Cy Young year. Sanchez, I mean, I didn't know how to feel about him after last season, but he's looking phenomenal. And they're all doing very well. Now you just said 9 scoreless innings for Gregory Soto, and before that, I didn't know how to feel about him either. He sucked. He really did. He didn't.
Yeah, I agree.
He sucked. He literally just gave up runs, and now he's actually pitching well. So it's interesting how they could switch things so quick, and just the way that I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing God's work. I'll tell you that. It's just incredible how just pitching. I mean, just coaching could just change your mentality slash on field performance. The only one that scares me, Sir Anthony Dominguez a little bit. He's he's okay, and obviously now that Ruiz is having a couple bad games, but it's gonna happen to the best of them. But as long as they can continue this good pitching and have a great bullpen, they're gonna go very very far in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think part of it, what it is like it depends on who's catching as well. Because I know Rob had said a couple of games ago that like Marshawn was catching certain pitchers and then Stubbs was catching certain pitchers. And I think it's starting to slowly catch up to them where that's not working in a sense. Um, so I think that's part of it as well as them not having JT in where JT's kind of catching everybody. I think the change or the constant change of pitchers kind of throws off the I say pitchers, I meant catchers, but um just the constant rotation of Stubbs or Marshawn is just throwing them off. But I mean, like even the constant change of pitchers as well. On the other hand, even though I made an error in my saying, the rotation of pitchers for the catchers is also kind of messing them up too. So
Yeah, no, I mean it definitely hurts them not having the all-time, the everyday catcher. Um, it could slide. Obviously, there's going to be rest days and stuff like that, but JT Realmuto, he's perfected himself to be, one of the best catchers in the league, if not the best. He's definitely top three, if not top two. So it definitely hurts them not having him right now because just not only because of his defense, because of his bat too. He's been pretty good offensively this year, but he just knows how to frame pitches in a certain way. He's just been doing it for so long, and obviously he's better than Marshawn and Garrett Stubbs. But yeah, I mean most of these guys are just used to throwing to him, so it definitely hurts. But even with Stubbs and Marshawn in, it's been really good to say the least. They've been like slowing down a little bit more, but they're still winning games. They're still finding ways to win, and as long as, like I said, they play 500 ball, they'll be in good hands.
yeah. Next man up, next man mentality. But that's all we have for you guys tonight. Phillies win 6-4. Absolutely dominant outing for them. Exactly what they need coming off that Marlins series. And yeah, same time tomorrow. I think they play an 8:05 game, and then I think Thursday is like a 2:20 game, which is a weird time. But other than that, I mean, great win. Still best in the MLB, still best in the NL, and they're on an absolute run right now. So
Yep, I can't wait to see in the future what these guys can do, especially for in the playoffs. They're a special team this year, and I feel like they go very very far. Um, I mean, like you said, they need to just continue to win these games, but I would love to see a sweep against the Cubs. They just need it. They need it going into this series against the Braves and the Dodgers.
yeah, I agree. Like I said, tomorrow we will be back same time since the game is at 8:05 tomorrow. Thursday though, we will be off just because it is 4th of July. We won't have a show on Thursday, even though there is a game. Just with it being such a weird time, The show will probably be around time that people are leaving to go see fireworks or barbecue or whatever they're doing. So we'll be back the following day. So on that note, everybody have a good night. We're going to go ahead and roll the outro. And yeah, great Phillies win. See you guys.
The Vikings.
Swing and a drive. Left